welcome to this deep dive, into James Patterson's The House Across.
Oh, yeah.
Have you read this one?
Yeah, it's been a while, but I remember really enjoying this one.
It's so creepy. Like, right from the beginning, you get this sense of, like,
Yeah.
foreboding,
Right.
Like something terrible has happened and something terrible is going to happen.
Yeah, well, it's definitely got that classic Patterson, like, page-turner quality, you know?
Oh, yeah.
You want to keep reading to see what happens next.
Yeah. And I think
Yeah.
that works really well in this book because the premise is so strong. You've got, like, this successful defense attorney, Noah Cross,
Right.
and his estranged brother is found dead
Mm-hmm.
in their family mansion.
Yeah, and the mansion itself is almost like a character.
Oh, yeah.
Right, it's called Cross House, right?
Cross House. Yeah, very subtle.
Uh-huh.
But, like, I was thinking about it, like, a lot of these, like, Gothic novels or, like, even, like, Agatha Christie mysteries,
Right.
they often take place in these, like, big, creepy houses. So it's like a tried and true.
Definitely.
theme.
And it works so well, like those settings, those houses, they become like symbols of the family's secrets and all that, all the hidden things.
Yeah, it's like the house is holding its breath,
Yeah,
waiting for the truth to come out.
exactly.
So you've got this creepy house.
Right.
You've got this mysterious death.
Yeah.
And then you've got all these, like, really interesting characters.
Oh, tell me about it. Like, I was so drawn to Noah.
Noah, yeah, he's...
Like you said, he's this successful attorney. He's at the top of his game.
Mhm.
But he's also got this vulnerability to him,
Especially when it comes to his family.
Especially with his family. Yeah, it's like he's got this armor on in the courtroom.
Yeah.
But when he's dealing with his family, it's all stripped away.
I mean, I think anybody who has, like, a complicated family
Yeah,
can relate to that.
for sure.
Like, you might be, like, very successful
Mm-hmm.
in your professional life,
Yeah.
but as soon as you go back home or you start dealing with,
Oh, yeah, all those old dynamics come back.
it all comes back like that baggage.
Yeah, it's like you never really escape it,
And that's definitely, like, a major theme in this book.
Oh, yeah, it's like you're running from your past,
Yeah.
but you can't outrun it.
And the past is also embodied in the house itself.
Right, exactly. Like I was saying before, the house is like a repository of all these memories, all these secrets.
And then there are other great characters, too,
Yeah.
like Noah's sister, Claire.
Oh, Claire, she's fantastic.
She's like a force of nature,
She is, yeah. She's so strong-willed.
and she's suspicious of everyone.
Oh, yeah. I mean, who can blame her, right?
Yeah.
After everything that's happened.
Yeah, like their family has a lot of secrets.
Yeah, so she's not going to just trust blindly.
And then there's Mrs. Grayson, the housekeeper.
Oh, Mrs. Grayson. She's like a character out of a Gothic novel.
Oh, yeah.
I picture her like lurking in the shadows.
Yeah, and she's always watching, always listening.
Like she knows everything that's going on
And she only reveals information
when she wants to.
when she wants to.
Yeah, she's like a puppet master.
Totally. And it's
Yeah.
like, you can't tell if she's, like,
Right.
helping Noah or hindering him.
Yeah, she's got her own agenda for sure.
Right, so she's a very interesting character.
Oh, for sure.
But, yeah, as we were talking about before, like, this book is more than just, like, a
Right.
whodunit.
Yeah, it's got those layers to it.
It's got those layers. Like, there's so much about family dynamics,
Oh, yeah.
loyalty and betrayal,
Mm,
and the psychological impact of, like, growing up
right.
in a family with secrets.
Especially in a family like the Crosses, where it's like generations of secrets. Like
Yeah.
it's all built on this foundation of lies, basically.
And so that brings us to, like, one of the big questions of the book.
Yeah.
Can you ever really escape your past?
Right. Can you ever truly break free from those family legacies?
And I think that's something a lot of people can relate to.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we all have family histories,
Yeah.
whether we know them or not.
Yeah. Yeah, and sometimes those histories could feel like a weight.
Oh, yeah. It's like you're carrying this baggage around with you,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't even know what's in it sometimes.
Yeah, and so Noah is kind of forced to confront
Right.
his family's past in order to, like, figure out
Mm-hmm.
what happened to his brother.
And in doing so, he's also confronting his own past.
Yeah, and that's what makes the story so compelling.
It's a journey of self-discovery, but it's also a thriller.
It's like two genres combined into one.
Exactly.
But let's talk about some of the things that James Patterson does so well, like
Right.
his writing style.
Oh, yeah. He's got that signature style, like,
Yeah, short chapters,
cliffhangers.
cliffhangers.
Yeah, multiple perspectives.
It keeps you turning the pages.
Oh, yeah, like you're constantly on the edge of your seat.
And he also uses flashbacks really effectively.
Yes, those flashbacks are so important because they give us these glimpses into the family's past.
Mm-hmm. And they don't feel like
Uh,
info dumps.
Right. They're not. No, they're very well integrated into the story.
They're like these little
Yeah.
mini stories within the larger story.
Exactly. And they often reveal these crucial details that help us understand the present.
Yeah, it's like you're piecing together a puzzle
Mm-hmm.
alongside Noah.
Right. Trying to figure out how all these pieces fit together.
Yeah, so it's a really effective technique.
And it keeps the reader engaged, like you're always trying to figure out what happened in the past.
And how it connects to the present.
Yeah, exactly.
So we've got this great premise,
Right.
these compelling characters,
Mm-hmm.
this really fast-paced
Yeah.
writing style,
It's like a roller coaster ride.
but there's also like these deeper layers,
Oh,
the
yeah.
social commentary,
Definitely. Patterson doesn't shy away from tackling some big issues.
like the corrupting influence of power,
Yeah.
the ethics of the legal system,
Mm.
the way that societal forces
Yeah.
can shape individual behavior,
It's like he's asking us to look at the systems that we live in and how they can sometimes fail us.
and how they can impact our lives.
Exactly.
So all of those themes are like woven into this
Right.
really compelling mystery.
It's a thriller with a message.
Exactly.
And it's not always easy to see those systems, those systems of power.
Right, they can be very insidious.
Yeah, like they operate in the background
And you don't even realize how they're affecting you.
until you step back and really take a look.
Yeah, and I think that's part of what Noah's going through in this book.
Right. He's starting to see the cracks in the facade
Mm.
of his own world,
And of his own family.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's talk a little bit more about the characters, because I think that's one of the things
Yeah.
that James Patterson does so well.
He creates these really memorable characters.
Yeah, and even the minor characters.
Right. They all feel real. Like
They all feel like they have a story.
they have their own motivations, their own secrets.
Yeah, and I think that's especially true for Noah and Claire.
Oh, their relationship is so complex.
It's so messy and so real,
Yeah, like they love each other, but
but they also resent each other.
and they don't trust each other.
Yeah, and I think that's very common in families.
Especially families with secrets.
Right, because the secrets can create these divisions.
Yeah, and they can make it hard to really know.
Who to trust.
Exactly.
And so Noah and Claire are constantly like pushing each other,
Right, testing each other,
testing each other,
Yeah.
trying to figure out like
where they stand,
where they stand with each other.
and if they can trust each other.
And can they even trust themselves?
Right, because they're both dealing with their own,
Trauma.
and their own baggage.
And so that relationship is just like one of the,
It's a driving force in the story.
it's so central to the story.
Yeah, and it's what makes it so emotionally resonant.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
then you have Mrs. Grayson.
The enigmatic Mrs. Grayson.
Right. She's like this,
She's observing everything.
like she's the eyes of the house.
Yeah, and the ears, too.
She's like the ghost of the house.
Yeah, and she's got this air of mystery about her,
Like you never know
what she's thinking,
what she's thinking or what she knows.
or what she's going to do.
Right. And that's part of what makes her so creepy.
Yeah, and so fascinating.
Right. Because you want to know more about her.
You want to figure her out.
But she's not giving up her secrets easily.
Nope, she's playing her cards close to the vest.
And she's probably got like a whole deck of cards up her sleeve.
Yeah, she's always got something up her sleeve.
But she's a really fun character
She is, yeah, and she adds a lot of suspense to the story.
because you never know when she's going to
Drop a bombshell.
drop a bombshell or
Like nudge the story in a different direction.
yeah, or just like give a little hint.
Right, just enough to keep you guessing.
And so speaking of suspense, like let's talk about the ending of the book.
Oh, the end.
Like without giving anything away, can you talk about how Patterson like brings all these threads together?
Yeah, he does a great job of tying everything together.
Right, like you've got the mystery,
Yeah.
the family drama,
The social commentary.
and it all comes to a head in this really satisfying,
It's a page-turner of an ending.
but it's also like unsettling in a way.
Yeah, it's not a neat and tidy ending.
Right, because it leaves you with this feeling that,
Some things can't be fixed.
right, like the past can't always be.
They're erased.
Yeah, and sometimes the truth is
More complicated.
more complicated than you think it is.
Yeah, and it's not always what you want it to be.
Right, and so I think that's one of the things that makes this book so powerful.
It's realistic.
It's realistic, it's not like a fairy tale.
It's a story about real people dealing with real problems.
And those problems don't always have easy solutions.
And sometimes those problems stick with you,
Yeah, like linger.
Yeah, like a shadow.
And so the ending of this book is very much like that.
Yeah, it's haunting.
It's haunting, it's thought-provoking.
It makes you think about your own life.
Yeah, and your own family.
And secrets that we all keep.
Absolutely, so it's a really well-crafted ending.
It is, yeah, and it's one of the things that makes this book so memorable.
So let's switch gears a bit and talk about James Patterson's writing style.
Okay.
Because he's known for his very like fast-paced,
Yeah, cinematic style.
cinematic style. Like it's almost like you're
Reading a screenplay.
reading a screenplay or watching a movie.
And he uses a lot of techniques to achieve that effect.
Like what are some of the things that he does?
Well, he uses short sentences, vivid verbs,
Presented verbs, yeah.
sharp dialogue.
And he doesn't waste any words.
No, every word counts.
Every word is there to move the story forward.
Yeah, and to keep the reader engaged.
And so it creates this sense of like urgency.
Urgency, momentum.
Like you're being pulled along.
You're in a roller coaster.
You're on a roller coaster. You can't get off.
Yeah, you just got to keep going.
And it's really effective.
It is, yeah. It's part of what makes him such a page-turner.
Right. And I think that style works really well in this book.
Oh, yeah, because the story is already so suspenseful.
Right? Like you've got the mystery,
Yeah.
the family drama,
He's a setting.
the creepy house.
It's all very atmospheric.
Yeah. And so his writing style just like amplifies
It heightens all of that.
all of that.
Yeah, it's like adding fuel to the fire.
And so you're just like racing through the pages, trying to figure out what's going to happen next
And who's going to do what.
and what's the truth.
And what's going to happen to Noah.
Yeah. Like it's a really wild ride,
It is, and it's a lot of fun.
but it's also like emotionally engaging.
Yeah, because you care about these characters.
You're invested in their stories.
You want to know what's going to happen to them.
And I think that's another thing that Patterson does really well,
He creates characters that you can connect with,
even if they're flawed.
even if they make bad decisions.
Yeah, because they feel real.
They feel human.
They feel human. And so you can empathize with them,
You can understand their motivations.
even if you don't always agree with their actions. And so that's a really important element of this book.
It is, yeah, because it makes the story so much more powerful.
So we've talked about the characters,
Mm-hmm.
the writing style,
Yeah.
the suspense,
The ending.
but let's talk about the deeper layers of the book.
The social commentary.
Right, because Patterson doesn't shy away from
Tackling some big issues.
tackling some big issues.
Like power and corruption.
Right, and how those things can affect
Individual
individuals, families.
society as a whole.
And so I think that's one of the things that makes this book so thought-provoking.
It's not just entertainment, you know?
It's not just a mindless thriller.
It makes you think about the world we live in
And the systems that are in place.
and how those systems can sometimes be broken.
Yeah, and how we can sometimes be complicit.
In those broken systems.
Right, and so it's a really important message.
It is, and it's one that I think we need to be talking about more.
Absolutely, and so I think Patterson does a really good job of like weaving that message into the story.
Yeah, it's not heavy-handed.
It's not preachy.
It's very subtle.
It's subtle, it's organic,
It emerges naturally from the story.
and so it's really effective.
It is, and it makes you think.
It makes you question things.
It makes you question your own assumptions.
And your own beliefs.
Exactly.
And so that's one of the things that I really appreciate about this book.
Me too. It's a book that stays with you.
It lingers.
Yeah, it makes you think about the bigger picture.
And so I think that's a really important thing for a book to do.
It is. Yeah, it's not just about escapism.
It's about something more.
It's about engaging with the world.
And with ourselves.
Exactly. Yeah, it really makes you think, about how much control we really have over our own lives.
Right. Like, are we just products of our past, or can we actually break free from that and like
Right.
create our own destiny?
It's a question that's been debated for centuries, nature versus nurture.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's an easy answer.
Right. It's probably a little bit both.
Yeah, I think so. Like, our past definitely shapes us,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't have to define us.
Right. We still have the power to make choices
Exactly. And to learn from our mistakes.
and to create a different future.
Exactly.
And I think that's a really hopeful message.
It is. Yeah, it's empowering.
Yeah, like even if you've had a difficult past, you're not doomed.
Nope. You can still choose a different path.
And I think that's something that Noah's trying to do in this book.
Yeah, he's trying to break free from the cycle of secrets and lies.
Right. And to create a better life for himself.
Yeah, and for his daughter.
And for his daughter.
Yeah, he doesn't want her to be burdened by the past.
And I think that's something a lot of parents can relate to.
Oh, for sure. Like, we all want what's best for our kids.
We don't want them to make the same mistakes we made.
Right. We want them to have a better future.
And so I think that's a really powerful theme in this book.
It is. Yeah, it's about hope and redemption.
Yeah, and it's about breaking free from the past.
And creating a new future.
So to wrap things up, what are your final thoughts on The House of Cross? Would you recommend it to our listeners?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's a must-read for anyone who loves a good thriller, but it's also a book that will stay with you long after you finish it.
Because it makes you think about your own life.
And your own family.
And the choices that we make.
Yeah, it's a book that asks some big questions.
And I think it's a book that offers some hope.
Yeah, Amidst all the darkness.
Right. So if you're looking for a book that will keep you on the edge of your seat
Mm-hmm.
and also make you think about the bigger picture,
This is the one.
this is the one, The House of Cross by James Patterson.
Check it out.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and we'll see you next time.